Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking how to zero a motor for the Neupulator. So we have the U brackets, we have the battery pack. Remember to always turn it off. Make sure there are 4 batteries inside of it. Then we have a small and a large screwdriver. We have also jumper wires and a breadboard with the microbit and the dragon tail breakboard. This is the code we're going to be using today to zero the motors. So let's take the motor bracket. We're going to put in the screw, the bearing, and the nut. Now we're going to take the motor, and the objective is to power the motor with the battery pack. We see that the motor cable has female connection ports, while the battery pack has male connection ports. We can use the breadboard to interface both of these connections. So now we can take some male-to-male jumper wire cables and connect those to the battery pack cable. In this case, I matched the orange jumper wire to the orange cable from the motor. This is the signal cable. I also matched the red jumper wire with the red wire from the motor. This is the positive voltage. Finally, I matched the brown ground cable from the motor to the black jumper wire. This is gonna be our ground. I want to make a note that the colors of the jumper wires do not have to match the colors of the cables from the motor. The colors of the cable of the motors are very important since they signify which are the signal, positive voltage, and ground wires. But the jumper wires come in many different colors. Now, let's connect the battery pack to the breadboard. First off, we'll connect the black ground cable to the ground on the breakout board. This should be on the first row. Then we connect the positive red cable in an arbitrary place on the breadboard, away from the breakout board. Now, let's connect the motor to the breadboard and the breakout board. First, we'll start with the orange cable, that is the signal cable, and we'll connect that into pin 1. Then, we'll connect the black cable as the common ground between the motor, the battery pack, and the microbit. Finally, we'll connect the red cable of the motor to our power source. In this case, the power source is the battery pack. In other cases, the power source can come directly from the 3-volt pin of the microbit. Next step is to assemble the motor brackets. Well, first, we'll have the motor, and we'll have what is called the horn. In this case, the horn gives us a way to attach the motor brackets to the motor and make sure it's aligned as shown. To attach it, we will need to put a screw in the center to keep the horn connected to the motor. Then we'll take the motor bracket and put it in the orientation shown in the video. This is an extremely important step, and the orientation will affect the final result. To secure the motor and the bracket, we will use 4 screws and nuts, and we will tighten them up enough so that the motor won't move. Having an extra pair of hands in this step might be useful to prevent the nut from free spinning while you screw down the screw. If you don't have an extra pair of hands, you can use one of the screwdrivers to pinch both nuts simultaneously and screw down one of the screws. Please verify that the orientation of the bracket is correct. Once you have your code ready, you can download it to the microbit. If you have not paired the microbit, please follow the procedure shown. First, you click Pair Microbit. Once it's connected, press Next. And you should select the device you want to connect to. Usually, you don't have to repeat this process unless you change the microbit or you use another computer. Once the download is completed, you will see that the horn will rotate and adjust itself to the initial condition we gave it. The next step is to attach the bracket, or what we may call the U-bracket, to the motor and its horn. We're going to align the bracket as shown so that the bracket is over and around the motor. Now, let's align the holes of the bracket and the motor horn, and then we'll insert 4 screws to fix it. Make sure that the motor bracket has the correct orientation and that you haven't pressed any of the buttons so far. Now, we're going to verify that our installation was correct. So, hold the motor by the U-bracket so you don't pinch yourself. Then you can press either button on the microbit to rotate the motor. If the orientation of your motor bracket and motor does not match the video shown, you might not have downloaded correctly the code before installing the bracket, or you may have pressed one of the buttons before installing the bracket. As always, please remember to turn the power source off after working with this project. Well done!